but I want to show you some finer points about this old piece of machinery that I put together in '85, I think. One, it's an antique cast iron 5S Briggs & Stratton motor, which pretty well you can tell by the 5 cylinder heads, cylinder fins, not counting the head. The reason it's able to have a recoil on it, that's a Tecumseh lawnmower recoil. I took the rope cup from the Tecumseh mower and reamed a hole out in it with a rat tail file and put double nuts on the left-hand threaded crankshaft because the rope cup played hell with my ankle. And people thought, well, that rope cup, isn't it going to grab the rope? And they don't grab a rope. They spit the rope out once the motor starts. The only time it catches is in the cranking position. But all it is a flat piece of metal welded to the seat post tube and also welded to the frame of the bike, catching the 2 left-hand bolt holes. Then up on top I got a top motor mount. Now keep in mind I made it in '85. I've never retightened any bolts, including the ones I thought would be needing work right off the bat. When I was figuring out my ratio, I just built these little tabs and put the clothes dryer pulley on. I was sure that they would loosen up, but I wanted to see if I had it about mid-range, like a car in second gear basically. And I've never had to tighten them since. And that's, if the speedometer is even halfway right, I think it had like 200 miles on it when I got it from a bicycle. Now it's at 2,700. From '85 till now I've put 2,400 miles on it in Jefferson County. For my jack shaft, and not only to space the motor more to the middle, I used a Lincoln air conditioner tightening idler and welded a pulley to the Lincoln pulley and then a wash machine pulley to the middle pulley to space it over. Just used a pulley as a spacer because I don't buy anything if I don't have to. This is a Toyota generator bracket. This is banding metal that holds stuff down to pallets. I didn't trust the kickstand, so I put a beef up bracket where the kickstand can't break off because I keep it in the basement and I don't want a fire. The kickstand hooks up under that piece of spring steel. What else is weird on it? Everything about it's weird. Yeah, I put a handbrake on the clutch. It's got like 6-to-1 reduction, so that brake ain't working hardly at all. What I mean is it's not wearing hardly at all. It works great. It'll slide the tire, but it doesn't ever wear out these real hard shoes. One, they're super hard. 2, they're stopping through 6-to-1 reduction. What else we got that's kind of weird? This motor could have had a Kickstarter on it at one time. It was off a real type lawnmower, and I think it had a yank lever where you pull it uphill to start it. But since the motor doesn't scoot, I made another generator bracket, they're handy for everything, to slide this idler up to tighten my primary belt. Secondary belt, you scoot the wheel to adjust it. And it appears that you would tighten the belt with this idler here, but that's not really what it was for. Early on, before the belt got conditioned to that pulley, and I did bend that pulley open with a crescent wrench just a little bit way back early on, the belt would flip on me. But this being a flat-backed idler, that keeps it from rolling over. The carburetor's off of a bigger motor. This is like a 2-horse, I believe. The carburetor's off a lawnmower, like a 3¼ horse old mower out of the 60s. It had an intake port about the size of a nickel. Well, you can tell how big, damn near the size of a quarter. The motor had one about the size of a dime, so I got the motor on a compression stroke where no grinding dust could go inside the engine. And took a grindstone and a drill and just kept goring away at the intake port. And I'd bash my thumb on it, and I'd look at the red ring on my thumb, and I'd bash it on the carburetor, and if I had 2 red rings, I knew I wasn't close enough, so I just kept farting with it till I got it to where the holes were the same size, and it works great that way. I cut off the big old air horn that stuck out here and had an air filter because it just was awkward. It doesn't get in the way of your leg like people think it would, but I just like the smooth look, and that's the bowl vent right there. Up here, this twist grip, like there again, I get everybody's discarded junk because I'm tight. This twist grip didn't have the little grommet that holds the outer cable, so I got to rooting through a box of carburetor kit leftovers that I saved from way back when I worked at 4th Street Auto. I saved all their kits when they got done with the carburetors. That's a, I think it's a 289 Ford needle valve seat. It's not the exact thread, but we ain't gonna tell the recoil that, or the twist grip, but that ain't the right thread. It don't hurt it. Works perfect. What else have we got that's kind of odd on it? I seemed like there was something else. Oh, this shroud was off of a flat lawnmower, even back when it had the rope you have to wrap by hand. That's why that logo's on it upside down. If you picture that down on a vertical shaft mower, and it had a hand wrap rope, but I needed the tall one. And I told you something wrong. This isn't a 5S, this is a 7S. It's the tall shroud with 7 cooling fins on the block. So it might be a hair over 2 horse. I don't really remember the ratio. Or there's a book over there that would tell you exactly what it is, but I ain't digging it out. All these little adjustments are ears of discarded generator brackets and smog pump brackets, and you name it. When I first got it going, not only was I worried about them tabs on the back wheel coming loose, but I wanted to test drive it. So I got it started, turned the pedal crank to where I could still have brake on the left, but that was before I put these dog legs in it to clear the shroud. So I rode it down to J-Town Transmission down on Old Taylorsville Road. Back then Bobby Nip was still alive, and he was outside. It was on up in the evening, so I rode over to brag on it and show it off to him. And he said, well, what are you going to do about this here? I said, well, I'm going to take it to my brother's and we're going to heat it and put a dog leg in it. He said, roll it up here. So I rolled it up on his slab outside the door, and he rolled his torches out and heated it. And he wouldn't even let me bend it. He heated the damn thing, put the pliers on it, bent it, and you know, he was just a hell of a guy. He didn't have to do that for me, but he did after hours. But the belts are real forgiving where a chain isn't, so that's how I figure that the pulley stays on the back wheel with just them sheet metal screws without coming loose. The belt's cushion where a chain would have done ripped the spokes out of it probably. But I've got, you can see all the welds. I've tried to do as good as I can. All I have is a stick welder, but I can lay them on there pretty good. And the gas tank, some old man maybe giving 15 bucks for that tank back when 15 was a lot of money, but he knew I wanted it real bad. It was off of a Clinton motor that had an old cast iron Clinton that had the tank out on the front of the head, turned down vertical. And what else? That's about it on that one. I did do it. You want to do another one, Clinton? I'll drag out that one I just